where do you find God? Almost sounds like a loaded question, doesn't it? I mean, if God was someone you could find, wouldn't everyone be out searching? Well, rather than looking for something elusive, like a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, I reckon it's more about learning to recognise the way God is already present to us in our everyday lives. I'm Lizzie Oakes, and this is Where Do You Find God? My guest on the podcast today is Bjorn Brickell. He is one of the presenters, broadcasters on the Morning Wake Up on Life FM. Good morning, my friend.
Hey, good morning, Lizzie.
How many years have you been doing this old breakfast radio shenanigans?
I feel like people ask me this question more and more, which shows me I've been doing it a while and people have started to notice.
Well, I think it's just incredible commitment of getting up early. You know that I don't like getting up early in the morning, and I'm just always like, I feel you've been doing it for at least 10 years.
Yeah, at least probably 13,
okay,
I think, which is kind of terrifying when you say that out loud. That's a long time.
That's commitment.
It's getting close to 15, and then that's pretty close to 20 years that's when you get a gold watch, isn't it?
Something like that.
Makes me feel like an old man, but yeah, about 13 years doing the early ones on Life FM.
But are you one of these people who can sleep anywhere, anytime?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's helpful because I'm generally not. So,
and more so as I get older too, find myself needing to have a little nap or catch a little bit there. But I also have always been able to sleep no matter what's going on, so I don't ever carry stuff into the night. You know, like even if it's stressful or there's a lot going on or I'm worried about something, or maybe I can compartmentalize it, or that just disappears and off I go to sleep. So my wife is very jealous of that skill.
Yes, that's a gift. We don't all have that.
No, I know.
Beyond in Acts chapter 17, verse 27, it says, God intended that they would seek him and perhaps reach out for him and find him, though he is not far from each one of us. So my question for you today, Bjorn, is where do you find God?
I find that maybe he more so finds me a lot of the time. And I think it's changed over my life of where I kind of see God or where I feel his presence or him speak to me. These days with, younger kids, family, work, even life's very busy, and I think for a lot of people. So, like my experience of church and things like that, where I was younger, worship, those kind of things are quite important to me, those moments, and I really connect with God. I don't get to do that anymore because I've got two young kids to make sure I'm not tearing the curtains off or something like that. And, my experience at church is very different now. Even sitting in to listen to a sermon is an odd experience because I'm often out in the kids' church or something and just, so a lot of that where maybe I used to find input or I'd feel I'd hear his voice or something through a message or something. Not so much these days. And I find it's a lot more random and unexpected when I just feel like I hear the voice of God at times. Not like an audible way or something, but it just something speaks into your heart, or I feel just suddenly a very strong sense or prompting or call to do something. I feel like he finds me more than I find him these days.
Yeah, I like that. So when he finds you like that, those random, unexpected moments, what's that like for you?
Surprising a lot of the times because it comes out of the blue. And like I thought of a recent one, it was last year. I was on this men's retreat in the mountains.
Nice.
And I like getting outdoors and being in creation. I probably don't get the chance to do it as much as I'd like, living in Auckland and all of that kind of business. I'm born to be in the South Island.
You are. You so are.
Anyway, I was in the South Island, and we're in the Southern Alps, and there's a lot of people there. But I was sort of crewing, so I was running this as part of a team leadership thing. So I'm there to help other people basically find and experience God on this weekend. So it's not really about me going through any journey or having any revelation or anything like that. It's about them. And there was a group of guys just standing together and they were praying. And I just walked past, completely unaware. I had like business on my mind and we needed to get this thing ready for the next, you got logistics and all this kind of stuff. And as I walked past this group, it was like I literally ran into a wall of like, I don't know, the presence of God, the Holy Spirit. It's very odd and very unusual for me. It was like I tripped over it or something, which is it's very weird to say this, but
I love it.
As I walked past just the outside of the group, so they were almost in like a huddle, and I didn't even know what they were praying about. No idea. There seemed to be someone in there. Maybe they were praying for him, or I'm not sure, but I just walked past, and then just suddenly I was like onto my knees on the outside of their group. They didn't even know I was there. I dropped down onto my knees, then I just started just weeping. Like all this emotion out of nowhere. And I was so confused. I was like,
What just happened?
What am I doing? Why? What is this? But I sort of knew, I don't know, familiarity with like what the presence of God feels like. And I was just like, flip, it's the Holy Spirit, but I don't really understand what's going on here. But it was like he just hit me, and it was short. It was like maybe 30 seconds or something of this just extreme feeling and welling up of emotion and a lot. And then I kind of just got back to my feet again, and I don't know. It's just like almost like a tap on the shoulder from God, just to remind me that He's still here, and very present in my life. Even though day to day, maybe, or moment to moment, I don't feel like I'm like always connected to God or He's, that sort of thing. But it was like this very strong, out of the blue presence and reminder that, I don't know, He's here, He's watching over me, and He takes part in my life.
What does that say to you about the nature of God, that you're, busy doing your life, you were there to serve others, and then it's like He trips you up with a skipping rope or something, and you fall forward into His presence, and what does that say to you about His nature?
I think, to me, it shows that He understands me, and I think He speaks to people in very different ways, but usually the way that you need to hear Him, or how you... different personalities, types of people, that sort of thing. And I think for me, that was probably what I needed right then. And I think, my stage of life, my faith is very secure. I know what I believe in. And often, I feel like when God like clearly speaks to me, He's often calling me to do something or to act on something, is often when I feel His voice or my experience with God would be the strongest. Like, I'll just get a very urgent sense about something that I'm like, okay, God really wants me to do this. And, there may be I just put a person in your mind that I'm like, I need to call them, or I need to check in with them, or a while back I just randomly felt like God asked me to pay for something for another person that I knew. And it's it was weird because it was more of an extravagant thing that I probably would never, ever buy for myself. But I just felt I was asked to do that. And I was like, flip, okay. That's a bit odd. I talked to my wife. She was all for it. So we sorted the money out and paid for this thing for this person. Anyway, they rang me just in tears when they found out. And it turned out the thing that we'd paid for them over the next year was extremely crucial and important thing for them ongoing, and it was just this, I don't know.
It's just so beautiful.
So I feel like often when He speaks to me, it's when He's calling me to do something, or I feel like I know I need to act on. And I'm not saying I'm some huge philanthropist that's always dishing out gifts to people, but I just try and follow the promptings of God, because there's been times in my life where I haven't. I felt like He'd call me to do something, and I basically just ignored it because I didn't want to, or I couldn't be bothered. And those moments stick with me, like if you talk about regrets in life, they're always like, I felt like God wanted me to do something and I just said no. So I try to avoid that. And that's probably at the moment mostly where I find God.
Love it. Bjorn Brickell, thank you for joining us today on Where Do You Find God?
Pleasure to be here.
If you'd like to listen again, tune into Star each Wednesday morning at 10:30, or listen and subscribe via your favourite podcast app and give us a review so others can find us.